Testing what the Google Gemini 2.5 Pro experimental model, whether it can handle through the n8n workflow MCP large, oh, this isn't even large, but what size workflows it can handle. Like number of lines in a JSON for the workflow is over about 320. It starts to fail. So I'm trying Google Gemini, which has a larger output. In the MCP servers, there's currently an error with it. Let's just retry the connection. So there are some auto approve settings. We won't want to auto approve everything. I'll start a new chat. In the custom instructions, I've written, when I ask about workflows, I want to use the n8n workflow MCP, because if you had some JSON files in your project, it can try to edit those directly instead of using the MCP. So I've just created an empty folder so it won't get confused with any files that it looks at. List my workflows. You see, when it looks at the workflow, it's looking at each workflow that it finds. I've got 3 different workflows. And this can cause problems because it's looking at every single line. It actually made it through that one. The end result is it's listing the 3 there. Actually, I'll just change it to this one, which is the larger version. I want to see if it can handle this. And it inserts today's date. It'll get the heading and the context of that specific news item. Ultimately, what I want to be able to do is to change this column right outline to a Y, and that will create a markdown version of an outline. The goal is to check the existing rows and then insert new rows, but only if they're not already on the sheet. And it hasn't inserted any new rows, and it should have inserted new rows that didn't exist. I changed these column headings, so I'll copy these. I'll change the columns on the sheet to, so I'll see how it does with that. And I'm just using the MCP. I'm not needing to create any local source code, but I'm not sure how this will handle it. As long as it can handle hundreds of lines of JSON in those nodes or in the workflow. It's saying, I understand I need to update the workflow to reflect the changes in Google Sheet. And then it's chosen the nodes that it needs to update. So after it does this update, I'm hoping that it corrects that issue where the column names weren't matching up. Had an error there. Invalid JSON argument. That happens when it runs out. It can't handle that amount of text. And this one is update workflow. It seems to have reached, it seems to have done the entire file. Let's see how many lines that is. 583. So it actually was able to handle that. It's asking me to approve something. I'll approve that. And then it had a problem with the array. Getting repeated errors with the JSON formatting, I think, because it can't handle the length. And also a 400 error. And then it decided it doesn't need to send connections parameter, so it's going to attempt without the connections parameter. And I'll try proving that. I get a failed status code 400 again. But I don't think this is worth using with the Gemini 2.5. I don't know if any other models would be able to support this. It has come up with an idea that I was thinking about where I didn't know whether it could edit nodes directly instead of the entire workflow. And it says here, instead of sending the entire workflow, I will attempt to update only the specific nodes that need changes, providing their ID. So each node has an ID. And then it's wanting to edit those, just the 4 of them on there. Each node must have a type and name. So I've given it more context of the 2 nodes before the merge all topics. So it knows that the sheet is part of it. That is about 300 lines. I asked it to recheck option A, discard the new topic entirely, or update. So we want to discard the new topic if it already exists on the sheet. And it's focused on just changing the code, the JavaScript, with these changes. So I'll save that. It did find an error in what it did with invalid JSON, so I wasn't able to paste that, but it fixed it. So we'll see if I can paste. So the pasting still doesn't work. And the error is still there. Just getting confused with these. It's going a bit crazy with this. I'll just give it the old code if it keeps having this issue. Hopefully it fixes it with just a single backslash. So we've got single backslash. Now I can paste it. Run that.